Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good, man? Crazy card in Saudi Arabia last Saturday, and I feel like I got my money's worth with this card, but I left the card sad. My main man, Deontay Wilder, suffered another knockout loss, and I don't know where he goes from here. But as far as the rest of the card, man, that card that was one of the best like cards of this year all around. All of those fights were competitive. Uh, I seen a lot of great things on that card, and a lot of unexpected things happened on that card. I think the biggest surprise for me was the way that um, Danny Dubois he handled Philip Hergovich. Me personally, see after the fight, and before the fight, a lot of people was like Hergovich was a hype job and all that. But I kind of believed in Hergovich. I thought Hergovich was, you know, the goods right there outside of title contention. I thought he was one of the top heavyweights in the world, and I thought he would knock out Danny Dubois, and he looked like he was on this path to do that in the first three rounds, but I don't know if he gassed out or nothing or something, but Danny Dubois, he uh he got it together, got his timing down, and he was walking down Hergovich. And I originally thought that Danny Dubois would probably outbox Hergovich, but he knocked out Hergovich. Not like no 10 count knockout or nothing like that. It was a doctor stoppage as he was battering Hergovich in the end of the sixth round and the seventh round. No, in the seventh round, they stopped it in like after a minute. They had him look at the doctor, and the doctor had stopped it. But he was taking a shitload of damage. But as far as the main event of the evening, Zhang and Deontay Wilder fight was exactly how we expected it, man. Somebody was going to sleep, and that happened to be Deontay Wilder. First two, three rounds, they were just pawing at each other, trying to get in position. The first round, Deontay Wilder showed some good head movement and defensive, movement, causing Zhang to miss a lot. But the second round, Zhang started to come through. Zhang started to come in. He had Wilder trapped on the ropes for a little bit, and Wilder threw some nice uppercuts as Zhang was trying to flurry him on the ropes. I thought that Wilder was going to knock out Zhang in that sequence in the second round because he was throwing some sharp uppercuts. I don't know if he hit Zhang. He did hit Zhang with a couple of them, but Zhang weathered the storm. They both landed some good shots on each other, but that fight looked exactly how I thought it would look. In the fifth round, Wilder started to let his hands go. As soon as he started letting his hands go, Zhang countered his ass with the looping right. And that was a huge concern for me going into the fight. That's why I never picked Wilder to beat Zhang because Zhang was 280 pounds. He's a southpaw, and he has them awkward punches, man. He's got that looping right, and he's got that straight left. That's a nightmare for an orthodox fighter. And he had the weight on him that Fury had on him. Because you remember Wilder couldn't knock Fury all the way out. and Zhang had that same weight, and he was a southpaw, and he's awkward with it. You know what I mean? So I always thought that Zhang would win the fight, but Wilder did a couple good things in there. But mostly everybody is calling for Deontay Wilder to retire. And I understand what you mean. You know, I feel like Wilder is probably done at the top level, but if he could get like some, and I like the point that Ness is making, you know, because if he's not done, maybe he should go on a bum of the month run. You know, get 10 guys, knock them out, get your confidence back up, and then try to go after an AJ or somebody like that. Or hell, if Zane's still around, maybe him or Usyk or another Fury, who knows? But Wilder was talking about retirement before this fight even happened. So I think that Wilder may be retiring. Zhang Zhang may be the man that just retired Deontay Wilder. And I got to give Turkey Al-Sheikh his props, man. He's putting on these fire cards, great matchups. You know, he's not playing in this boxing game, man. He ain't playing. You know, and back to the card, Ray Ford suffered a loss to Nick Ball, which surprised me as well. You know, he lost a decision, and I really think that Nick Ball did deserve that decision because Ray Ford wasn't letting his hands go enough. He was letting Nick Ball tee off and run up on him without too many consequences too many times. He did catch Nick Ball and hurt him with a couple counters, like in the middle towards the late of the fight. I thought it was even going 6-6, but I mean, I thought it was even throughout 6, probably 3-3 or 4-2 Ball. You know, Ray Ford, I think he did like a too little, too late type of situation, man, but he didn't get beat up real bad. I mean, he made Nick Ball bleed and he hurt him. You know, it ain't like he didn't do nothing in the fight, but I think Nick Ball probably did edge out that decision. But, and Dimitri Bivol delivering a knockout, his first knockout in 6 years. That, you know, that was a good thing too that happened on that card. But that was a great card, man. I don't think none of these cards gonna really match that because it was Queensbury Promotions versus Matchroom Promotions, Eddie Hearn. And the Queensbury fighters, all of them won. Ammo Williams, he took a devastating loss to Shiraz. I didn't even know that dude like that before the fight, but he showed some good things. He was bigger than Ammo, and he was countering Ammo real bad, which ended up in an 11th round stoppage. But Ammo Williams, he showed a good account of himself. You know, he hurt Shiraz a little bit early with the straight left hand. You know, he applied some pressure, but the man was able to weather the storm and get Ammo out of there, man. You know, I just assumed Ammo would win the fight because I didn't know Shiraz like that. Because, you know, the middleweight division is seen to be so thin. So I didn't really know much about him, you know. But Queensbury Promotions, they swept Eddie Hearn. They swept him. And a lot of these fights ended in knockout. But as far as Wilder and Zhang, what's next for them? mean, Wilder brought up retirement before the fight, so I would assume that he would retire. I mean, I wouldn't mind watching him fight more, but I wouldn't pay for his pay per view again if he the main event. Maybe he should be an undercard to like Tank or somebody. But yeah, I think as far as top level, championship level fighting, I think he is done. And Zhang, when is he gonna get a title shot? I wonder who his next fight's gonna be against. There's rumors of him and Anthony Joshua who have amateur history against each other. You know, he put in some good work against Joshua, but I think Joshua ended up beating him in the amateurs, but it was a good fight. Or maybe Danny Dubois. That would be a good fight. Him and Dubois, because the belts are tied up with Usyk and Fury. Tyson Fury suffering his first loss in his career, which, you know, I'm happy about it, but to be honest, man, it really should be like his third loss. So I wasn't like celebrating too hard. I was just happy for Usyk. We finally got an undisputed heavyweight champion, first since Lennox Lewis. But yeah, Zhang deserved to be in that mix. Joseph Parker. There's a couple of deserving heavyweights that deserve big fights. You know, so Zhang, he got some options. I think he got options with Danny Dubois, Joseph Parker, or wait for a title shot, wait for a belt to drop. Zhang is 41 years old, and he looked like he can do this for a couple more years, man. Zhang is, you know, that he's showing that heavyweight prime is, you know, pat 30, 35 and up. Hey, you can still be in your prime in your 40s, man. This man's 41 years old, and he's knocking people out. You know, Wilder threw that right hand in the fifth round, and Zhang looped his right hand, and he clipped Wilder, and Wilder turned around and went to look around like, what the hell? Looking at the ref, and then Zhang wasted no time, ran straight up on Wilder with another right hand and knocked Wilder down. And Wilder did get up at like around the 10 count, but I guess he didn't pass the inspection that the ref gives you after you get knocked down to check to see if you're okay. So the fight got stopped in the fifth round. But where I think Wilder went wrong at is after those Fury fights, after the third fight, he should have fought like 4 or 5 Helleniuses. He should have fought more tune-ups. Because after the Fury fights, he went straight and fought Joseph Parker off a long layoff. And then he fought Zhang. Like, those are 2 top-level heavyweights, man. Like, Wilder, like, these fighters nowadays, they don't give a damn. They don't want no tune-ups. They want the biggest bang, no matter who they got to fight, which is entertainment for us, but you got to think about your career as well. What's best for you, you know? And the Malik Scott thing, I mean, I don't think Malik is good for Wilder, but Wilder likes him, you know? And yeah, you don't need a yes man like Malik in your corner. Wilder should have went to like a Derrick James or a Bomac or Calvin Ford, somebody like that, man. Like, somebody that's going to get on you. And to be honest, I don't even think Mark Breland was that good for Deontay Wilder, because when they were exposing each other and shit after the second Fury fight, you know, Breland was like, he couldn't get Wilder to do this and that. Like he was acting like he was damn near scared to try to train Wilder. Like you can't be scared. You gotta get in his face, tell him what to do. It is what it is, man. If he hit your ass with the right hand while you trying to tell him the right thing, then just move on. All money ain't good money. You gotta stand on business as a trainer, man. Wilder never got the right training in his career, especially with that right hand power. He fell in love with his power. So he never felt like he had to do much else, you know. So he never really worked on much else. I mean, you got to think about it. If you was in that position, maybe you'd be the same way, you know. If your ass knocking people out with single shot, straight right hands every time you step in the ring, what the hell you think you gonna be wanting to box like Floyd Mayweather and shit like that? You ain't gonna be thinking about that. And he's made it 40 fights. He's got 43 wins with 42 knockouts. A super high, like a 95% knockout rate, like a 98% knockout rate in his wins. So I don't blame Wilder, man. I don't blame Wilder. If I was in that position like that, I'd go as far as I could too. Shit, let me get in that bitch and land this right hand and get out this bitch. Yeah, we don't get paid for overtime, you know. But Wilder's that dude. It is what it is, man. He's just not a top contender no more. He didn't take it light on himself. He don't turn down fights. He don't turn down fights. After that brutal Fury third fight, man, you should have been building back up the right way, and I don't think he did, and that's why he's in the position that he's in. But he gave Zhang some good rounds. It is what it is. He got knocked out in the fifth. I kind of knew Zhang would do it, but going into a Wilder fight, that's my favorite heavyweight. So, was rooting for him. Wanted to pick him. So it is what it is. Zhang got the job done like I thought he would. That 80-pound weight advantage with the looping right hand. He knocked out Joyce with that thing too. Zhang got some true one-punch knockout power. Because going into the Joyce fights, Joyce was seen as this indestructible juggernaut that nobody can ever hurt, and he cracked him. He cracked him even worse in the second fight. He lulled him to sleep with that left hand, and then looped that right hand. He ain't even see it coming. Knocked his ass straight out. So Zhang is kind of the real deal. Zhang is like a true heavyweight, knockout artist. Like Zhang don't go in there looking for no points. Zhang trying to go in there to knock your ass out. Like he ain't with that bullshit, And I was surprised that Wilder even took that fight. Wilder's a warrior for that, for even taking a Zhang fight, coming off a loss to Joseph Parker. They both lost to Joseph Parker. But that was a great card by Turkey Al-Sheikh. I just wanted to put my input on this situation. Should Wilder be done? Maybe. But I wouldn't mind him doing what Ness said, that bum of the month club, fighting every month, non-threats, just to see them knockouts again. You know, because that's what the heavyweights see. But and when people see like two or three of them, they gonna be ready to put them back in there with top competition. But he ain't. I don't know if he ever gonna get back to that level. Maybe he should just put on some entertaining knockouts and get out the way. Go out on the high note. But it is what it is, man. It's up to Wilder. What's he gonna do next after this? I'ma holla at y'all to talk about Fury and Usyk a little later.